Good morning, and what is your choice? Electric, gas, hybrid? I mean, there's water powered, there's so many other things. What else have we used? There's diesel, obviously, and then there's other types of gas. There's other things that you can use as well that can be pretty interesting. Try just about all of them. Right now, sitting in my vehicle and charge an electric Volvo. Can be fun, can be a moment to take time to reflect and figure out your day or catch up on some work, maybe get on your laptop or iPad or something. I don't know. What's your preference? Do you like electric, hybrid, gas, diesel? What's your preference? Do you like the downtime? Do you notice that there's really a difference between paying for electric and paying for gas? Yes, I said that. You do actually have to pay for electric. I know it seems like it's a convenience, but not necessarily. Tesla seems to be the fastest of all of them. You can charge your vehicle. They're more frequently defined. Good morning, Royal Gardens. He says gas 100%. Woo woo. Nevertheless, what is your preference? I'm sitting in a vehicle right now. It's going to probably take me an hour to charge that. That's an hour of my time that now I have to spend charging a vehicle. For some, maybe it's a big deal. Others, it's not. If you're doing sort of the Uber and the Lyft thing, the ride share, or any sort of delivery, that 1 hour can really impact your time, your day, and your delivery schedule. So what do you guys prefer? On average, what are you paying to fill up your vehicle? I think the most I've spent was probably on a Ford. It was probably in the $50 range. I don't remember. I've got to check it out. What about you, Mr. Royal Gardens? What is your preference? And you said you like gas, but why do you like gas? Let's have a chat about this today, guys. Do some of you say, hey, I want electric for certain times of the day, certain places I'm going, maybe I'm driving in the city, and then I want to use gas when I'm doing long trips? Are some of you like, listen, I'm not doing a long trip. The most I go is 15 miles, 20 miles, and I don't really need gas or electric, so I'm just going to do what I do. So it does cost about the same to put electricity in your vehicle to charge up that battery, as it does putting in fuel. So what are your thoughts? Is this an environmental issue? Is this propaganda? Is this marketing? Or is there really a benefit one over the other? I don't know. But I'm always grateful to have gas, especially in an emergency. Imagine if you had a tornado or some sort of situation going on, some natural disaster, and the next thing you know, you got to go and, charge your vehicle. Scares the life out of me. Okay, let's see what Royal Garden said. Can charge 8% to 100% in 6 minutes. BYD can charge 8% to 100% in 6 minutes. BYD. Now, what is BYD? Interesting. But if I go and get gas, obviously gas, it only takes me, 5-10 minutes to fill up my vehicle. Is it better for the environment? I don't know. Is it better for my mental health if I can just get in and out of my vehicle? What do you guys think? What's your favorite electric vehicle? How many of you have driven vehicles? What have you driven? I'm going to give you some of the ones I've driven. Tesla is a really cool vehicle. Don't get me wrong. Tesla is a cool vehicle, but it costs money. You do have to charge it, and you're probably charging it a couple of times. If you're doing some sort of ride share or something, and you've got an electric vehicle, you're probably charging that thing 2 to 3 times a day. The Volvo I'm charging right now gets about 220 miles. You can't even go from the top of New Jersey, northern New Jersey, to South Jersey with that amount. I mean, I'm going to have to charge again by the time I get to South Jersey. What if I want to go to the beach or something? I'm now spending my time charging. So I'm charging to get down there. I'm going to charge when I leave, and then I got to charge again when I get back home. And you're probably looking at a good, close to $40 for that. So what are you all's preference? What are your thoughts? We're having a discussion today about electric, alternative fuels, gas. What are you guys thinking? According to Royal Gardens, China is the world's largest electric vehicle market and producer and compatible. And maybe that makes sense in China, where there's so much congestion and the population is different. Maybe that makes sense. But what about if you're in New Jersey? Does it make sense to have an electric vehicle? What do you guys think? Do you need an electric vehicle? I don't know. They are cool. It can have benefits. The other things I've driven are the Ford Mac. That one was pretty cool. It's about the same. It's about 200 or so miles. I've seen the, I love pickup trucks. The F-150 is probably about the same, about 200, 300 miles if you're lucky. Tesla can pretty much hold its charge the best of any of them. Tesla, you get 100% and you can probably charge that for about, it'll be about 280 maybe. Can be pretty cool. And then Royal Gardens is saying diesel power, gas powers in. So there's a lot of cool stuff. He's got some great ideas. But what else have I driven? Let me think. I've done Tesla, Fords, Volvo, lots of Volvos I drive. I'm trying to think of the Kia. Oh my gosh. Drove the Kia in Arizona. That was a nightmare. Left for an hour, went to Raising Cane's, came back, and I think we might have had 30% charge. It was the worst. So it might not have been the actual vehicle. It might have been the charging station itself. If you're going to charge these American vehicle, well, I guess Volvo's not really American anymore, but if you're going to charge these vehicles that are non-Tesla, one, they're going to take more time. They're not going to hold their charge as long. Probably could take you an hour to charge these vehicles. So just something to think about. And not for everybody, it's a different story. If you're doing rideshare with it, you definitely want to think about what it is you're doing. Because one time I was in a rideshare, I was in an Uber, and he actually had to pull over to take me like 45 minutes away. So that was kind of bizarre. And I know they're just constantly running. And so they're constantly moving and they're constantly picking up people and they don't want to miss out on the trip. So that, so they inconvenience us. But that took about 20 minutes. And I can only imagine how many times a day they're charging. So when you're thinking about what kind of career you want, if you want to be on the road, if you want to be driving, you really got to think about the fuel. Now, gas powered pickup truck that we have, an F-150, that thing gets about 600-700 miles. So we don't have to we can maybe fill it up every few days. Even if we're driving, like we could drive to one end of the New Jersey, back up, and still, we have quite a bit of fuel in the vehicle. Diesel is even better. The diesel can last, oh my gosh, maybe once a week sometimes, depending on the vehicle you're using. And that is what we consider kind of a clean energy. So, I mean, there's a lot. What's some other stuff that we've done? Let me think. We've driven some stuff that's really scared the what out of us, okay? Trying to get like gas and stuff like that. That was pretty scary. Driving down, from the East Coast to the West Coast and figuring out which vehicle is the best one. That can be pretty scary. But you have to figure out what works best for you. Is anybody else who's got a gas vehicle? Everybody who's here, welcome. If you got a gas vehicle, send me a heart emoji. If you've got an electric vehicle, send me any other emoji is fine. What are your thoughts about that? Is anybody in the market for a new vehicle? How important is your time when you're thinking about what it is you're going to drive? Is it important to you to have downtime, or is it important to you to keep moving to where you want to go? What do you guys think? What is it that makes you guys click? So, you got to stop. You got to find a spot. Not only is it the time to charge, it's the waiting. What if it's a busy time? What if it's 5 o'clock and there's like 10 people waiting to charge their vehicles? Now you just added 2 hours to your time. Is it worth it? Maybe. Depends on what you're doing. I mean, what would you be using the vehicle for? If you're just using it and you work like 15-20 minutes away, that can be a good thing. And then I guess you can go home and you can have just like a basic charger and then you charge it at home. But if you want to just get charged and be out of there, you definitely want to have something, probably more of a Tesla or something like that. I know they cost a little bit more, but you got to think your time, like opportunity costs that you're missing out on. What if you had an emergency? You had to jump up in the middle of the night and go to the hospital. Would you have enough charge in your vehicle to get you from point A to point B? Could you call an ambulance? Of course. You could definitely call an ambulance. You could call a friend or something, but definitely you want to have access to your own vehicle. Have a good day, Miss. Greetings from Spain. You have a good day. Is your name Hasavitos? Beautiful name. Love the spelling. Thank you for greeting me from Spain. So nice to speak with you. How are things over there? How's the weather? What's happening in Spain? Over here, we got rainstorms. I'm on the East Coast and it's rainy. I was just in the Midwest and on the West Coast and it was storming like crazy. Tornadoes, all sorts of crazy stuff. As Axavitos, are you using an electric vehicle or are you using a gas-powered vehicle over there in Spain? What's it like with that type of vehicle in the area? I'm just curious. How is it affecting you? What are the roads like? What about charging it? Are things differently? Is the electric vehicle in Europe different from the ones over here? Would love to hear more about it. Anybody, you guys chime in. Let me know. Let me know where you are, what type of vehicle you're driving, what are your preferences, which ones do you like the most? Have you driven a Mercedes and charged that one? I have not driven an electric Mercedes, so I don't know. I have driven Mercedes, and the Mercedes gas powered is perfectly fine. What are you guys thinking? What's your favorite vehicle? How far have you driven with this vehicle? How far would you like to drive? Would you risk going on a 1,000-mile trip with your electric vehicle? What are your thoughts? Who are you charging with? Are you going to Target? Are you using Electrify America? Are you using a different brand? Are you using a Ford dealership, the Charge Point? Which of you guys had experience with, and which is your favorite? Which works best? Do you think that it matters? Does it matter if you have downtime? You're using this time maybe for breakfast, lunch, dinner, reading, writing, or something. You guys let me know. What are your thoughts? If you're in the Pacific, what are you guys using over there? Are you in China? What vehicles have you tried? Is there something that you have that maybe we don't have over here that we're not seeing? I'm super curious to know what you guys are thinking about. Because I'm over here. Let me see. I started about, I think, 20 minutes ago. I'm still charging. I'm at about 72%. I want to get closer to 100%, but let me tell you, once I drive it to my destination, I've got to charge it again. And that's not, well, it's not even my destination. That's like one stop I'm making for something else. And then I got to continue on, probably another 150 miles. So I'm going to have to charge it again. So it can be pretty, pretty interesting. What do you guys think? Any recommendations that you guys would certainly have for types of electric vehicles? You live on a very small town, so I drive a tractor. Oh my goodness, how fantastic. So do you drive a tractor like to the supermarket or something? Is it gas powered? Is it diesel? Is it electric? What kind of a tractor do you drive? Exavitos, appreciate you saying that. That's fantastic. What's it like driving a tractor through town? That's pretty cool. Anybody else drive a tractor through town or anything? That's amazing. That is so cool. And these are things to think about. Like if you're in a dirt road, you're in an isolated area, does an electric vehicle make sense for you? It could if you're commuting to the city. I've delivered to many places that are kind of isolated, maybe 30 minutes out. I guess you would need to have an electric charger at your home. Does that make sense for somebody like you? Diesel, a lot of it. Oh, diesel is great, Exavitos. Thank you. Yeah, diesel is fantastic. I like diesel too. I like diesel in trucks. I like diesel in equipment. It seems to get us to where we need to go. And it definitely, you don't have to worry about, am I on the road? Oh no. Am I going to run out of fuel? It's definitely been fantastic. For your diesel tractor, do you also have to use the DEF also, or is it different? I'm just curious. So exciting talking about vehicles and stuff. I did a video on Instagram one time, and I did kind of a walk around on the Tesla and spoke about the Tesla and stuff. But I could talk about other vehicles too, because we drive all different types of vehicles. What else are you guys driving? What's happening over there? What country are you communicating from? Where state are you in? I would love to hear more from you. Thanks for the emojis. You guys are amazing. Thanks for being here this morning. All pretty exciting. What's the funniest thing you've ever done inside of your vehicle? Or the silliest or something memorable you've done in your vehicle that you're like, oh my gosh, nobody would believe this happened. So Axavito says more powerful and fiable engines. Yes, absolutely. Diesel is a very powerful engine. So do you need DEF over there or not? Like the diesel exhaust fluid, do you use that, or do you use something, and is there an alternative over there? Are the vehicles made differently? Does the terrain matter when you're looking at the type of fuel, or does that not really impact it? I'm really super curious what you guys are doing and what you all have driven. What else have you driven? More powerful and viable. Okay. And then Royal Gardens has probably driven all different types of vehicles. He tends to like a lot of performance. Love the emojis. Thank you, guys. Hearts and love back to all of you wherever you are in the world. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. If you have never driven an electric vehicle, would any of you consider going out and getting one today if you could? Which one would you consider? What do you drive, diesel or gas, that you might consider an electric? What have you not seen in electric that perhaps we would consider? Would it be a performance vehicle, maybe another tractor? What type of vehicle would you be curious about driving? What about if you have a family? What would you do with a family? What type of vehicle do you recommend best for your family? Which ones are tighter? Like, I'm going to tell you, the Volvo is extremely comfortable. It is a great vehicle. So many safety features, so many airbags, so many wonderful things about the Volvo that you might want to compromise on and get that particular vehicle, because the Tesla can be a little bit more narrow. It is the coolest little bubble. I love some of them. I saw one metallic the other day at Tesla and it was so cool. But the Volvo feels like a family vehicle. It's got comfort. And if it's a company vehicle, they're going to give you a fuel card, then I guess you don't care so much about filling it up, and the cost is because the company's probably going to need some of that cost. But you do care about your time. So which do you guys think is more important? The cost, the time, or both? You can send me some emojis. Let me know what you're thinking. Put in a comment, put something in the chat and say the time is most important, the cost, or both. According to Royal Gardens, the time is very important to him. Yeah, time is extremely important. Like right now, we're on time constraints and we're charging a vehicle. We're up to 77%, so we're making a lot of progress. But time is really a big deal because you're missing out on stuff by your time. Can you imagine if there was some, Oxavito, same thing, time. Yeah, time is extremely important. We don't want to minimize that because there's opportunity. There's a cost to that because now you're doing something else that prevents you from doing something else that perhaps you would rather accomplish. That would be a better solution for you than just sitting in your car and charging it. What are so time, anybody else? Fuel, the costs, both. Has anybody noticed any major differences between their costs? I don't notice a major difference in cost. I might spend $35 in gas on to fill up with a Volvo, and I'm spending $37 for charge plus my time. So I'm not really noticing a difference. What about environment? Has anybody had to repair? Oh, and then Real Gardens is saying my time is dollars, is money. Absolutely. That's right. Those are opportunity costs. Has anybody noticed, now I'm losing my train of thought over here. So you got the time, we got the costs. Those things are definitely important. Fuel, family vehicles, getting in and out. Like I saw somebody one time, he had 2 car seats in a Tesla. That can be a little bit challenging. Going to the supermarket, traveling with your family. What sort of things are important to you all? What vehicles are important to you all? So today we're talking about electric, this is gas, alternative fuels for those of you who are just joining, excuse me, and what it means to you. Whether it's time is a factor, whether it's the cost, or whether it's both, and you just kind of put that in the chat. It's all pretty exciting. Like I said, right now I'm in a Volvo. I've driven Volvos, Fords, Kias, and Teslas. And Tesla definitely holds the charge the most. It does take time. I've been in them when people have had to charge them when I'm riding in a ride share, and it could be a little bit, a little annoying. So, but your time is definitely important, and time and money typically go together. What has anybody driven a performance vehicle that's electric? I'm super curious to know about that. I've driven almost every vehicle, but electric only select vehicles. Anybody driven a performance vehicle that's electric? Let me know in the chat. I'm super curious to know where you guys are at. Of course, let me know where you're at, what you're doing, what's happening today. Royal Gardens has not driven any performance vehicles. He has driven performance vehicles that are gas, and of course, he's going to love that. What about repairs on the vehicle? Anybody had to replace batteries or anything like that? Any challenges, anything flamed, any fires, anything you've noticed that you could recommend, you could talk about to the group? I would love to hear about it. Let me know. Volkswagen, we've driven Volkswagens, but I don't think I've had to charge one. I don't think I've driven far enough to have to charge it. I just was able to drop it off. Volkswagen, pretty cool. Anybody have the fear of trying to find a place to charge your vehicle? That is the freakiest thing ever. Has anybody else gone through that? We've driven from one part of the country to the next, and that was a pretty scary experience. Scarier than being in a tornado or a hurricane. It was like, oh my gosh, if I run out of fuel, what am I going to do now? You know, that was like, whoo. And I think it was a truck too. It was like a 26-foot truck or something. And we were like terrified, but finally we found a place. Love's tends to be your best bet if you got like a truck or something like that. I know a lot of these Amazon vehicles now are electric. For those of you who are doing some sort of driving position, delivery, what are you noticing with those vehicles? Like, what does it take to charge them? How long are they charging? Does Amazon just have their own, you go to the plant or something and charge it? That I'm super curious about. Or do you have to also go and find a spot to charge it? What do you do in that situation? Those of you who are driving like those alternative fuel vehicles, electric vehicles, Amazon, I'm super curious about that. How was that working for you? What what have you noticed? Do they break down more often? Are they more reliable? What's sort of the factor? I'm up to 81%. Woo, woo, woo! 81% in the Volvo, here for like 20 minutes or so, I think. And still got to drive, still got places to go. Oh, I guess we're at 30 minutes. 30 minutes, 82%. And we started at 50, so whoo, oh good Lord. So by the time I get to my next place, it's going to probably take me an hour to charge. So wish me luck. Oh, and the funniest thing is when you go from 96% to 100%, that takes more time than the whole charge. It is the craziest thing. They tell you not to do 100% to preserve the battery, but if you're doing a lot of driving, you probably need to. So it's like touch and go. You got to figure out what works for you, what doesn't, you know. I feel for the people who are doing any sort of delivery, rideshare and stuff, because you're constantly on the move, and that time you're taking to fill up your vehicle, it feels like it's an opportunity. You're missing out on something. You're probably not really. There's plenty of Uber trips and stuff, but I can know that can be a little scary too. What are your thoughts? Is anybody here in rideshare doing delivery, anything like that? Are you using electric? Are you using gas, alternative fuel? They're talking about water coming up pretty soon. Anybody hybrid? Then the other thing is, any of you hybrid, like with the Toyota Prius, those things have such a small engine, it's equally as inconvenient. I think I filled that thing up 3 or 4 times just going like 500 miles. Those things aren't any better. So the tiny cars have a small fuel tank, and so you have to keep filling those up as well. So that's not really helping either. You're almost better with a bigger fuel tank if you got stuff to do. And you can't be stopping if you've got, you know, whatever you're doing, whether it's, you know, working outside or something, firefighter, policeman, that sort of thing. Can you imagine being a firefighter or a policeman and having an electric vehicle? How does that even work? Could that be risky for a firefighter? I don't know. You get some charge, next thing you know, somebody's getting electrocuted. I'm curious, are there any firefighters, police officers, or anything that have electric vehicles that they're using them in the fleet? Does that even make sense? Just want to know what you guys' thoughts are. UPS is driving by right now. Love this conversation. Love you guys. Appreciate you all being here. Appreciate you being part of the conversation. I've got probably a couple of more minutes, and then I've got to get going on to my next, get rid of my charging of the electric vehicle and go do what I got to do. But just wondering what you guys think. Glad you're here. Glad to have the conversation. Later, if you guys want to comment or anything and I'm not here and you want to talk about electric vehicles, what your experience has been, I would love to hear it. And I will certainly get back to you. So just let me know what you're driving, what you've experienced, what works for you. If you're an Amazon driver doing any sort of that delivery in their vehicles, do you actually have your own charging place? Or how do you guys do it when you're on the road like that all day long? How long does it last? Does the charge last on those vehicles? Do you charge it once per day and then you're done until you come back that night? You know, curious, but excited at the same time to learn more about all of this and getting more of an understanding of the various vehicles. Has anybody used an electric vehicle for snow plowing? That I'm super curious about. an electric vehicle for snowplowing. Anybody, we had for a while in New Jersey, they were restricting gas powered equipment. So lawn mowers, things like that, tractors, they were restricting it. Anybody experienced that? That didn't last very long because it just wasn't practical and wasn't viable. So they stopped, requiring people to only have electric vehicles or electrical equipment anyway. But okay, you guys put in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are, where you are, what your experience with electric vehicles has been, and I will be happy to comment and respond to that later. Wishing all of you the most amazing day ever, and let's chat again tomorrow. Be well. Thank you, Sonia Gallen Kamenika, and the author of 10 Things I Wish I Knew as a Single Parent. Keep it amazing.